Leero katuyiteko Bulange Mengo mu lubiri lwa beene ayisa abasajja kabaka waliyo omukolo gaggadde era ng'omukolo guno Katikkiro wa Eswatini His Excellency Lusello Mmiso Dlamini ashaddeko embuga era nga yaniriziddwa Katikkiro wa Buganda Charles Peter Mayiga okwogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo wakati w'obwakabaka buno bombi obwa Eswatini wamu n'obwakabaka bwa Buganda era nga bano ba mukwano nnyo ne kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi ow'okubiri kakati nno bazze okukyalirako kabaka n'okukyalirako embuga n'okukyalirako Buganda okwongera enkolagana eyo ebaddewo ebyasa n'ebyasa okuva eri ku mirembe gy'abajjajjaffe. Kale akkiriza tutambule mpola mpola tugende embuga eyo tulabe Katikkiro wa Eswatini byatuleetedde nga ffe abaana b'e Buganda era n'enteekateeka nga bwe ziri era bwe zigenda okuba okukyala kwe kuno ebirungi ebigenda okuvaamu era bye tugenda ffenna okwaniriza ng'obwakabaka era nga abaana ba kuno n'okulaba nti twongera okutambulira wamu nga ennono ez'enjawulo okukulaakulanya ennono zaffe okukulaakulanya amawanga gaffe okukulaakulanya Afrika yonna okutwalira awamu. Kale katugende omukolo nga bw'ogulaba gwegwo bwe guli bwe gutambula gwetabyeko abakungu ab'enjawulo okuva Eswatini Eswatini kyonna bwe kiri abavudde eyo abazze kuno ate ne wano okuva mu bwakabaka bwa Buganda abakulembeddwamu Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga nga yakulembeddemu aba wano omulangira David Kintu Wasajja n'abantu abalala bangi mu bwakabaka abeetabye ku mukolo guno ogw'okwaniriza omukulu Katikkiro avudde mu ggwanga erya Swaziland. Kale katukkirire mpola mpola.
I wish to take this moment to introduce our H.E who are the honorables in our midst on this side. H.E were Patrick Luwaga Mugumbule, the Speaker of the Great Buganda Lukiiko. H.E were Noah Kiyimba, Minister for Lukiiko, Cabinet and Protocol, and General Duties of the Office of the Katikkiro. H.E were Joseph Kaluchi, Minister for Local Government, Royal Business, and Diaspora Affairs. If we are to work with Eswatini, is our minister that connects us to Eswatini. H.E were Court Leader Nakate Chikomeko, Minister for Social Services and Office of the Nabagereka. In our language, Nabagereka is the wife to the king. It's a title given to the wife of the king. H.E were Anthony Wamala, Minister for Culture, Royal Tombs, Palaces, and Security Affairs. H.E were Israel Kazibwe, Minister for Information and Official Spokesperson of the Kingdom of Uganda. Omutaka Nsamba, the clan head of the Ngabi clan, the judge, we call them judges. They are the custodians of our culture. His Royal Highness, Prince Daudi Chwa. Others on this side, they're from the media houses, from various media houses, and employees or servants of the king. On August 27th, 1999, that was the first time I had an opportunity to see. I was young, I was a child, but I was seated on a television at home. I saw King Muswati dressed the royal wedding for His Majesty Sabasajja Kabaka. That was my first time to get to know about Eswatini. By then, it was Swaziland. Our relationship dates back to the 18th century. For all of us are Bantu. You migrated, your ancestors migrated from Mozambique, as history puts it, from the Nguni, and you also migrated, when you read history, you also migrated from the south, the Bantu speaking people. So we are the same, we are brothers and sisters, and this moment continues to cement the relationship between our two cultures and between the two people, the peoples of our kingdoms. On behalf of the young people, we wish, through our Katikkiro, to affirm that we will keep and maintain and strengthen this relationship in the times to come. But we officially welcome you and we thank you so much for sparing time to visit the kingdom. We're going to follow our program. I wish to invite Ggwanga Katikkiro to officially welcome you in the Kingdom of Uganda. And after that, we'll follow as the program indicates on the table. Last not enough, let's welcome the Katikkiro of Uganda. Watch team.
Right Honorable Russell Mmiso Dlamini, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, and your dear wife, the Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Eswatini, members of the Prime Minister's delegation, the Honorable Minister Kabuye Chofatogabiye, Minister of State in charge of Kampala, my colleagues who have been introduced, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini to the headquarters of the Kingdom of Uganda. I extend the greetings of His Majesty Ronald Mwenda Mutebi to His Majesty King Mswati III, which greetings we hope you relay to His Majesty when you get back home. The King told me to inform you that the Kingdom of Eswatini is a brother kingdom to the Kingdom of Uganda, and the King of the Eswatini Kingdom is his brother. Now, in the Kingdom of Uganda, the king is the father of everyone. Never mind that not everyone is a prince. For example, here there is only one prince who has just been introduced. The prince and princesses are the ones who are related to the king, biologically. But all of us are children of the king. I presume that is the tradition in Eswatini, which makes all of you our brothers and sisters. So once again, you're most welcome home congratulate Prime Minister Mmiso Dlamini upon his appointment to the high office in the kingdom. I wish you success in your endeavors. Being a Prime Minister is a challenging job anywhere in the world, but it's for a reason that you are the one in charge of that office. So we've got no doubt that your tenure will bear fruits. I visited Eswatini in 2015 with Prince Crispin Junju, son of the King, and Princess Victoria Mkenzi, and we were privileged to be received in audience by King Mswati. He actually hosted us to a dinner. We intend to travel to Eswatini later this year, and we look forward to meeting all of you. The history of the Kingdom of Buganda can be traced to the mid-13th century, when the originator of the current dynasty of kings, Kabaka Chintu, crystallized the pillars that sustain the kingdom. Kabaka means king. The time when the kingdom was established seems to coincide with the disintegration of the H.E dynasty. For students of history, you may have learned about the H.E dynasty, which disintegration led to the formation of smaller kingdoms, notably that of Buganda and of Bunyoro-Kitara. But Chintu is believed to be the founder of the dynasty currently headed by Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, and is the 36th king of the Kingdom of Buganda. Should any one prince be named king, that king will belong to that clan of his mother. At the end of the day, every clan has an opportunity to be the presiding clan on the throne. At the end of it all, every Muganda relates to the throne. The throne of Buganda belongs to the common people because of the clan system. The king, the royal family simply preside over that arrangement. It may be difficult for a visitor to understand that, but not people from Eswatini. And then at the Grand Council also, another innovation was to make the administrators like me and my colleagues non-hereditary. None of these gentlemen and ladies is a prince or a royal. None of them is a clan head, because clan heads are also hereditary. So the Katikkiro and other officials are appointed or disappointed by the king, which in a way separates powers, but also gives anyone a chance to enjoy the cultural mores of the institution, because generally speaking, elevation by office is on merit. But then, this is the interesting thing. As far as the governance of the kingdom is concerned, the Katikkiro is next to the Kabaka in the hierarchy. So, hereditary leadership of the Kabaka, the king, and the clan heads ensures continuity of the heritage of Buganda. Yet the fact that the administrators like me are appointed from time to time, we believe it maintains the vibrancy of the institution. Because when you look at these both big pictures, these are my predecessors in the office of Katikkiro, the office of Prime Minister. From 1896, you may not be able to see all of them. All these have been Katikkiro's prime minister over time. And during the reign of Kabaka Mutebi, I'm the 5th prime minister. So maybe that brings some vibrance to the institution. So the Kingdom of Buganda was abolished in 1967 by the then government. And I want our visitors, especially because these are brothers and sisters, to understand. I'm going to be brief, so you understand why the kingdom was abolished. So colonialism is created Uganda as you see today. But Buganda was the cornerstone upon which Uganda was built, even from the name. You know, when the Europeans and Arabs came into the hinterland, they would come from the coast, the East African coast. They came with Swahilis and Arabs. Now the Swahilis have a problem with the syllable B-U, even today. It is very difficult for them to say Buganda. So they would say Uganda, missing out the B. So the Europeans, the English just wrote U instead of B. And the first treaties which they concluded with the Kabakas of Uganda were with the kings of Uganda, with a U. Eventually that becomes the name of the country. But eventually we say we are not Uganda, we are Buganda. So they created Uganda, and throughout the colonial period, Buganda enjoyed a semi-autonomous relationship with the British. The kingdom could handle internal affairs of the kingdom for as long as the kingdom didn't interfere with the wealth the colonialists were extracting from Uganda. The rest of the matters were handled by the Kabaka's government, actually. So at independence, when we approached independence, parties struggled for independence of Uganda. And a party called Kabaka Yeka, or you can loose translation is King alone, was formed. It was called Kabaka Yeka, which they believed would promote and protect the heritage of Buganda. The other parties were Democratic Party and the UPC. After the elections that preceded independence, the part of Buganda, Kabaka Yeka, allied with UPC of Milton Obote, the first Prime Minister of Uganda at independence. Now, people say it was a marriage of convenience because Obote was a Republican and was only interested in the alliance for purposes of becoming the first executive Prime Minister of Uganda at independence. Obote saw himself as a Pan-Africanist, whatever that may mean, and he involved himself illegally in the Katanga conflict of the Congo by sending Ugandan troops into that country. At independence, the leader of UPC became the executive prime minister, and the king of Buganda became the head of state and president, but he was ceremonial. But he was the commander-in-chief. Now, Obote sent troops to the Congo without the authorization of the commander-in-chief, who happened to be the Kabaka of Uganda. And you may guess who he sent into the Congo, General Idi Amin. I'm sure you've heard about General Idi Amin. So, after that, lots of things went on. Commissions of inquiry were set up by Parliament. Why did you go into the Congo? It was alleged gold was looted by Ugandan soldiers when they went to Congo. It was alleged Amin shared the loot and Obote and other ministers. So a commission of inquiry was instituted. Meanwhile, Buganda had acquired 2 counties from Bunyoro Kitale. It's a long story. And those 2 counties were claimed by the neighboring kingdom of Bunyoro Kitale. Now Obote supported Bunyoro, so that the 2 counties go back to Bunyoro, which happened. Now, when the investigation started about going into the Congo, the alliance developed cracks. The alliance between Kabaka Yika, the part of the king, and UPC. And Obote sent troops to attack the Kabaka's palace. On 24th May 1966, the troops were commanded by General Idi Amin. Where we are turned into the military headquarters of the country. This is the administrative seat of the kingdom, of course. It was opened by Kabaka Mutesa in December 1959. They invaded the official palace, one of the palaces, and they turned it into the biggest barracks in the country. So the kingdoms were abolished. In 1971, Idi Amin turned the guns on his master. Milton Obote and overthrew him. Then Ugandans in exile in 1979 overthrew Idi Amin with the help of Tanzanian forces. Then in 1980, elections were held. Many people said they were rigged. Obote came back as president. He was in exile in Tanzania. When he came back, President Museveni went into the bush because he said he rigged the elections. The people of Uganda joined President Museveni because they wanted to exact revenge against Milton Obote for abolishing the kingdom. And Obote was overthrown in 1985 by his own army again, because there were cracks in the army following the civil war. And those armies were also overthrown by President Museveni in 1986. The king returned from exile because our king was in exile. From the time of 1966, he had been taken to Britain for studies. And his father fled to exile in 1966 and he died in 1969. And he was our king in waiting since then. But he couldn't return home. He came back in 1986 in August. 7 years later, because I told you the Baganda joined in the war, the guerrilla war that was headed by President Museveni. So we were in constant talks with the government for the restitution of the kings of the kingdom. That happened in 1993, when the laws were changed. And here we are receiving you as the kingdom of Uganda. The law that restituted the kingdoms didn't bring with it the federal system of government, which we had earlier. It did. The law allows us to deal with culture. The law allows us to deal with matters of development, like education, like health, like investments, like management of land. The law doesn't allow us political powers. We still want them. We believe we shall get them, one step at a time. There is no rush. The kingdom is here about 1,000 years. The country is about 100 and so young. So we are not in a hurry. We are going to go smoothly, nicely, but we are focused and we know what we want. We shall get them. And the minister is here, is taking notes, I'm sure. He will report accordingly. So the Kabaka has a government within the confines of the law. Within the confines of the law. We handle areas which the law permits us to handle. And we largely depend on the goodwill of the people in Uganda. They make enormous financial contribution to the kingdom. We have also invested. We've got the largest radio station in the country, CBS FM. I think we shall take you on a guided tour. Then the next, that building you see is part of this establishment as well. We operate from. We've got a TV station. Rival TV stations will not agree that it is the biggest, but that's a fact. They're all here. We have companies. We've got companies. We've got a board which looks after the kingdom land. The Kabaka is the biggest owner of land in the country, and we utilize them. We either invite investors, I don't know whether Honorable Chofa Kabuye took you to some of our investments. Maybe there was no time. Some of the best real estate developments in the capital are handled between us and investors and many others. We do investments to sustain the operations of the Kabaka's government. We don't get revenue from the taxes that are generated within Uganda. Incidentally, 70% of the country's economy depends on the Kingdom of Uganda. It's a fact. And, but we don't get revenue from all that generated here because of the law. But, you know, you don't sit and fold your hands. You work. You roll up your sleeves and you work. Just because you haven't attained the federal system of government doesn't mean you're going to sit here and lament from Monday to Sunday. We initiate projects and programs. The Kabaka has schools, it's got a university, it's got tertiary institutions, it's got secondary schools, it's got primary schools. The Kabaka extends health services to its people. The Kabaka fights poverty through different programs. So, it would be, I think, a lot better if we had a federal system of government. But that would be for another day. You are not responsible for our not having a federal system of government, so I shouldn't bore you with it. But the most profound factor, in my opinion, is that the goodwill of the people of Uganda and the love they have for the Kabaka and this institution. So we continue to engage with the government. We work with government in many areas. We engage all political actors, be they in the opposition, because you see, we do not determine the political parties to which people in the kingdom belong. So we are very hopeful that with constructive engagement, you know, the best is yet to come, both to the kingdom and to the country. We work for the unity of the citizens in the country. We love Uganda very much because the brief history I mentioned shows you that the formation of Uganda, you know, was largely because of the existence of the Kingdom of Uganda. So, if Uganda were a company, for example, then the Kingdom of Uganda would be a major shareholder. So we love Uganda. We love all of Uganda. We love it very much. But that doesn't diminish our attachment to our heritage. We normally refer to the analogy of the peacock bird. You know, the peacock bird has got different colors, different sizes of colors of feathers. When you bring them together, you get a beautiful bird. That's how we see Uganda actually, as the peacock bird. The analogy of the rainbow nations of Africa, I think that brings it closer home. So we look forward to learning a lot from you, interacting with you, working with you. And we think this kind of interactions will promote and sustain our different cultures. And I hope that we can strengthen the cooperation. There are also lots of investment opportunities. Fortunately, my brother, my counterpart, is conversant with the affairs of Uganda. I'm sure with this brief explanation, we can find all sorts of ways to promote the well-being of the Kingdom of Uganda and of Uganda, and the well-being of the Kingdom of Eswatini. We thank you for heading the delegation of the Kingdom to Uganda for the NAM conference and the G77. I think these conferences are important for the country because they bring exposure to the country and opportunities arise because of exposure. So I think it's upon us Ugandans to take advantage of the exposure that we've had to show the opportunities to the guests so that we work more closely together for the development of humanity. We wish you a happy stay. I hope you're still here for longer. Please enjoy the mild weather. I'm sure you've not experienced extreme heat, and I'm sure you've not experienced extreme coldness. So enjoy yourselves until at home. The MC said that we migrated from the south, and I think it was wrong. It's you who migrated from here and went down there. You can always come back home. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Let's give another round of applause to the H.E. We appreciate the precise history about our kingdom. We now believe that our guests are more conversant.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that we haven't served the guests with some coffee. You know, Uganda is the largest exporter of coffee in Africa. We are the 5th largest producers, but the first, we are number 1 in exports. Yeah, and we are the 5th, I think, in Africa. And we want to be good for the guests to, the aroma of Ugandan coffee. I'm surprised you haven't done that so that the guests get some coffee. The water is also good, but you don't get the coffee in just plain water. Please do the needful.
Thank you so much, H.E. We believe that our guests are more conversant with our history, and know who we are and what defines us. H.E. will allow us a few minutes to slot in something that wasn't in the program. In our midst, we have the Minister of State for Kampala, Honorable Kabuye Chofatogabye. Let's welcome him. We have the Consular of Eswatini, Mr. Bamwin, and I wish to invite him briefly to introduce the people around, the dignitaries around. We'll eventually invite Ambassador Mamba, the Ambassador of Eswatini, based in Ethiopia, but in charge of Uganda, who will introduce the delegation before the Prime Minister. Thank you so much.
Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Buganda, and the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, Kingdom officials, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Bamwine Kwilino. I represent the Kingdom of Eswatini in Uganda as the Honorable Consul since 2020. But before I introduce people, I want you people to clap for the Katikkiro, for the rich history. These things, Mr. Katikkiro, Honorable Minister Chofa Togage didn't know them. I saw him wondering where does the Katikkiro get these things, but I told him, me, I come from Kore, but I know all these things. Because I studied from Mengo Secondary, from senior 1 up to senior 6. So I know all these things very well. The Prime Minister, maybe because the Katikkiro gave a very rich history, the only thing, Mr. Katikkiro, you forgot to tell the Prime Minister is that all women in Uganda belong to the king. Yes, maybe matters is not supposed to marry from some clans, but all women belong to him. I think the Kabaka can even say, you marry Mr. Ramine and you have no option. So I want to thank you for the rich history. I've learned a lot, and I'm very, very grateful. I also want to thank the Prime Minister of Eswatini for taking this initiative. We didn't have this on program. I did not initiate it. He asked himself, can we my work is just to do a few things, to introduce a few people. I want to begin on my right-hand side. Ambassador Paul Amol, Uganda's High Commissioner to South Africa, accredited to Eswatini. I will introduce Honorable Ggwanga again because of one reason. Honorable Ggwanga is standard. He is the Minister of Kampala Affairs, but he has also been given a new position as a courtesy minister. You know, the ministers who the president trusts a lot has been giving them people to lead them. Not every delegate has a minister. So, Mr. Prime Minister, we are lucky. We have a minister who is most trusted by the president. I want to introduce Ambassador Mamba Standard. Ambassador Mamba is Eswatini's ambassador, not only to Uganda, almost all African countries apart from SADC countries. In English, we say he's ambassador plenipotentiary and extraordinary. Please clap for him. He also represents Eswatini in Israel. In case you have questions, journalists, about Israel, he knows them a lot. At this juncture, I would like to hand over to Mr. Mamba to introduce some of the delegates. I hope you know all of them by name, but in case you don't know, you should be able to give each one of them a microphone to introduce themselves. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, members of the royal family, members of the 40th state, and everyone present here. I wouldn't say, Your Excellency, it is an honor to stand up and say something. I think it's a great service on my part. But having been mandated to do that, I would not introduce my Prime Minister in the presence of my Minister of Foreign Affairs. It is her mandate to do that, including the consort for the Prime Minister. That also includes one minister of the state. You see, I will start from this side, on my right-hand side, to introduce my colleague, who is the permanent representative of the Kingdom of Eswatini at the United Nations. I will go on to introduce the Undersecretary in Political Affairs of the Minister of Foreign Affairs in the Kingdom of Eswatini, Mr. Bulange. I will go on to introduce the First Secretary in the Office of the United Nations. And of course, I have my team. I will start with our financial manager and First Secretary Administration. If I miss anyone, it's not intentional. It's because it's more important than the rest of those items. I will now, with pleasure, present this microphone to my Honorable Minister. Maybe I have the right to introduce her. She is Polide. Honorable Minister Polide. Polide means calmliness. She's very calm. I think she's the one to take on the baton, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador. Your Excellency, Your Excellencies, members of the Royal Household, honorable ministers, colleagues that are here, and all of you distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My role is to introduce to you His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, His Excellency Mr. Mmiso Dlamini, who is leading the delegation from your sister kingdom of Eswatini, and he is representing His Majesty King Mswati III. Your Excellency,
Your Royal Highnesses who are present here today, the Right Honorable Prime Minister for Uganda Kingdom, honorable ministers. Good morning, I hope it's still morning. We bring greetings from His Majesty King Mswati III, and from the Queen Mother in Uganda. When we were about to set out to visit Uganda, I was pleasantly surprised to know or to discover how much, our leaders back in Eswatini are familiar, with the country Uganda. And so we do bring warm greetings from them, and we certainly will take your greetings and your well wishes back to His Majesty the King as we return back home. I do want to express our appreciation for the warm welcome and the hospitable stay that we have experienced since we came to Uganda, and we really appreciate, that which has been extended to us. We have been treated, very well since we came here. We also are happy to have been part of the very important meetings that we came here to attend. The NAM conference and the G77 plus China. I think part of the issues that the Honorable Prime Minister here was discussing actually resonated as well from the discussions that we had. That of deepening cooperation and also making sure that nobody is left behind. We want to appreciate the rich history that the Prime Minister has shared with us here. It's fascinating how similar, we are as a people. In Eswatini, we clearly have have been blessed. We have maintained our monarchy. So we are from a kingdom, and our monarchy is actually the head of state. So he's the head of state, and we are in a state where we are evolving in terms of our governance system. So the king is up there with the head of state, and then we have the government that is elected by the people, with the prime minister that is appointed, by the king, and everything works very well for us. That is why we are the most stable and peaceful country, And so we love our monarch, we love who we are when we handle that with care, because we know that others who have lost it would really love to be where we are at. We want to again say thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, and we look forward, as you have stated, that you will be visiting the country. We look forward to welcoming you back in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and we will certainly convey the message that you will be coming, convey the message to His Majesty the King, who's the head of state. Otherwise, we have the delegation here, and we also want to thank the representatives of the kingdom here in Uganda, and the ambassadors of Uganda, to the country. One thing that I wanted to say with regards to Uganda, as influential in Uganda, is that if there is anything that Africans must fight to keep, it is peace. It is extremely important. There are things that we have to, there are things that we compromise, there are things that we have to let go. But one thing that we must not compromise about, it is peace. It is, this century is a century for Africa, and we must do everything we can to make sure that we seize this opportunity, to make sure that Africa takes the lead of the world again. I wish to thank you.
As our hosts enjoy the coffee, I'm going to make a few remarks in Luganda. Luganda is the language of the Baganda. Because this visit is being telecast live on TV, and the village where I'm born, people don't understand English very well. And I'm sure they're very interested in understanding properly what's going on right now. So I'm going to take very few minutes just to wrap up what I said and what you said. I'm sure you'll catch.
Obwakabaka bwa Eswatini nga busindise Katikkiro waabwo wano mu Bwakabaka bwa Buganda okubaako ensonga ezikolwako ezogerwako kuba tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti Obwakabaka bwa Eswatini n'Obwakabaka bwa Buganda.
We are the Ghetto Kids from Uganda, Kampala, Africa. Tubaita
n'Obwakabaka bwa Buganda bulina ebintu bingi ebibugatta ebyawamu era nga muzze mulaba kabaka wa Eswatini nga atera nnyo okujja wano e Buganda ku mikolo gya kabaka era ne kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi atera nnyo okugenda e Eswatini ku mikolo egiba giriyo.
N'olwekyo kya kitiibwa kinene nti Katikkiro we gazena n'ekibinja kino baasazewo bajje batukyalireko era Ssaabasajja Kabaka yampadde obubaka n'aŋŋamba ntegeeze muganda wange ono nti Obwakabaka bwa Buganda n'Obwakabaka bwa Eswatini bwa Luganda tufaananya ebintu bingi oba oliawo n'ensibuko yaffe y'emu. Era kabaka n'atikko obubaka bwetegeezezza Katikkiro ono bw'anaatwalira kabaka mu Swatini ng'amulamusa era ng'amwagaliza obulamu obulungi. Tutegeezezza abagenyi nti kabaka kintu ye kabaka asibukamu olubyo lwe tulina kaakati oba olubu kati olukulemberwa kabaka Mutebi II emyaka 19 emabega. Era bwe yali Obuganda n'atuuza olukiiko ennono olw'abaga Ssemateeka wa Buganda tali muwandiike. Ssemateeka oyo yatulambika era bwe tugoberera kabaka gwe mutwe gwaffe era ng'aggyibwa mu lulyo olulangira ate abakulembera Buganda ku Bwakabaka babeera bazzukulu baffe etutuli bansikirano tuweebwa obwami etuwummula ate n'obawo n'abataka bakulu ab'obusolya abakuuma ennono zaffe n'empisa zaffe ez'obuwangwa. Mbategeezezza nti Uganda eno temulaba ekyali nto bw'ogerageranya ku Bwakabaka bwa Buganda, era mbabuulidde engeri gye yazimbibwamu Abangereza, era nga ddala Buganda gwali musingi munene era gukyali ogw'ensi Uganda. Mbabuulidde bwe twefuga Kabaka n'abeera pulezidenti eyasooka, Kabaka Muteesa II, yatufuna emitawaana gya 66 Obwakabaka ne buwerebwa. Ate Abaganda aboogera ku kaawa temwogera nga njogera, abakaawa nakitende bagamba abo teboogera nga njogera. Ate Abaganda ne beetaba mu lutalo olw'ebiweero, baagala okubonereza Obote yalagyewo Obwakabaka. Kabaka yennyini ye ku lutalo yalwenyigiramu, yakomawo, twateeseganya Obwakabaka ne buddawo. Era kakati tukola ku ebyo ebitukkirizibwa mu mateeka, nandibadde nga federo tujjettanira nnyo era tujja girwanirira. Tetumuguutana, sitwagala bantu mirembe gibaggweeko kubanga Buganda bweri era ejja kubeerawo, tujja kuyita mu kuteesereza naye tugituukeko. Naye mbabuulidde emikisa egiriwo, tusobola okukolagana nabo ne tusiga ensimbi ne tuwuliziganya ne tuyigaŋŋana, buli omu n'abaako kyayigirako munne. So I've just summarized what you said, that you look forward to receiving us later this year. Thank you very much. Where are you going now?
Okay. Byebyo eby'Omuswatini Katikkiro ze okukyalirako Obwakabaka bwa Buganda, ensonga n'aziggusa bulungi ez'okuva eri ewa Kabaka w'Eswatini zaatumye eno embuga, ate era n'ezeeno embuga Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga naye n'azimutuma bulungi. Kale byebyo mbaagala nnyo mwenna abaliko mwe bali kubaako, Omukama Katonda nsaba bankuumire, tujja kuba tuddamu ebigambo tubyogere, bataayi mweraba.